Did you know the brain burns more energy just worrying for an hour than your legs do walking for two? Yeah. So if you're tired all the time, it might not be your body. It might be your brain running emotional marathons before lunch. I found that out after nearly caffeinating myself into another dimension and still yawning by noon. And that was just the beginning. Chapter 1. I stopped starting my day like I was already late. You know what's wild? I used to wake up every single morning feeling like I was already behind and not like, oops, I overslept behind. I mean, like I was already being chased by emails, by tasks, by expectations I didn't even remember agreeing to. I'd open my eyes and boom, dopamine withdrawal, cortisol spike, and this vague sense that I had already disappointed three people. And it was only 7:08 a.m. Want to know how I started my mornings? Phone in hand, doom scrolling through Instagram like it was a hostage negotiation. Check the news, check the group chat, check my email, and then check my soul. Yep, gone. Stolen sometime between the first notification and the third sponsored post about protein cereal. And here's what no one tells you. The way you start your day becomes your day. If you begin it overwhelmed, overstimulated, and undercaffeinated, congratulations, you've already lost. I was basically inviting burnout to breakfast. I didn't realize it then, but starting my day on defense was destroying me. My brain never had a chance to wake up slow, to think clearly, to decide who I wanted to be that day. It was like waking up in a courtroom and immediately being cross-examined by Slack, Gmail, and anxiety. Until one morning, total fluke, I forgot to charge my phone, woke up to silence. No screen, no alerts, no fake emergencies from Karen in finance. Just me, breathing, existing, fully unplugged for like 12 minutes. And I swear to you, I felt peace. Like actual, maybe I'm not dying inside peace. So I tried it the next day on purpose, and then the next. And that tiny window, 10, 15 minutes before the world starts screaming, became sacred. I stopped waking up like I owed everybody something. I stopped treating rest like a crime scene. I started slow. No phone, no input. Just me. A glass of water. Some deep breathing. Maybe even journaling if I was feeling like a Pinterest dad. And yeah, I still had the same job, same life, same problems. But my energy, different. Because I was finally leading my day instead of surviving it. And that changed everything. Look, I'm not saying you need to go full monk mode and chant affirmations while doing sun salutations. I'm saying this. The first 15 minutes of your day are like the steering wheel on a car. You grab it wrong, you crash. You grab it right, you still hit traffic. But at least you're not veering into a ditch. So maybe tomorrow, try waking up before the internet does. Let your brain stretch before it sprints. Trust me, Instagram can wait. Your peace can't. And hey, if you're already this deep into the video and haven't clicked away to go, just check something real quick. You might be one of the rare ones, the legends, the elite few who have an attention span longer than a goldfish. So while you're here, you might as well hit the thing. You know the one, the button, the bell, the digital high five. I don't want to say subscribe out loud because it sounds desperate, but if you don't, I might go back to waking up with my alarm screaming like a fire drill inside my skull. And you wouldn't want that, would you? Exactly. Chapter 2. I ate energy, not just food. So here's the part where I admit something embarrassing. There was a time, longer than I care to admit, when I thought I was healthy because I ate granola. You know, that crunchy kind with the sunflower seeds and optimism? Yeah, I'd sprinkle it on yogurt like I was better than people. Except 45 minutes later, I'd be face down on my desk like someone pulled my plug, and I'd wonder, why am I so tired? I just ate something healthy. Here's the thing they don't tell you in your Pinterest smoothie bowl phase. Not all food gives you energy. Some of it steals it, quietly, like a thief in the night with a PhD in metabolism. See, I was doing what most of us do. I was eating for fullness, for taste, for the illusion of control. But I wasn't eating for fuel. I was basically throwing logs on a fire, then getting mad when the fire turned into a puff of smoke. And the biggest culprits? Sugar, processed carbs, and those so-called healthy snacks that are basically candy bars in yoga pants. You ever have one of those energy bars that gives you everything except energy? Yeah. Those things could power a blood sugar spike big enough to light a small village for 22 minutes. And then, crash. Deep, irreversible nap vibes crash. Like, I need to close my eyes in this meeting and pretend I'm meditating, crash. I didn't realize how much food was messing with my energy until I started tracking how I felt after eating. Not how full I was, not how clean it seemed, but how I actually felt 30, 60, 90 minutes after. And what I learned hit me like a gluten-free brick. Most of the stuff I ate was knocking me out like a sedative in disguise. Even the stuff with leafy greens and words like ancient grains. I switched it up. I started eating real whole foods that gave stable energy. Things with protein, fiber, fats that actually make your brain work. Stuff like eggs, nuts, avocados, Greek yogurt without the sugar coma. And this is key. I stopped eating like I was prepping for an apocalypse. I used to eat these giant meals thinking, this'll keep me full all day. Yeah, it kept me full and slow, like I had swallowed a beanbag chair. Instead, I started eating smaller meals with purpose. I ate to fuel the next few hours, not the next few decades. And you know what happened? No crash. Number 2, PM death spiral. No fantasizing about becoming a couch. Just steady energy. Enough to live, create, think. Talk to people without fantasizing about silence. Here's a little experiment. Tomorrow, eat something simple. Something with protein, some healthy fat, and fiber. Then wait. See how you feel an hour later. If your brain feels like a loading screen from 2003, it wasn't food. It was edible sabotage. You don't need a 6-month meal plan or a spreadsheet. You just need to eat stuff that helps you function. Imagine that. And listen, if this feels like a personal attack on your granola habits, good. That means it hit. That means your brain knows what's up. Maybe it's tired of being betrayed by cinnamon raisin betrayal disguised as wellness. Also, let's be honest. Your body is the original BS detector. It knows when it's being lied to by a nutrition label. And if you've ever eaten low-fat ice cream and then cried yourself to sleep, you know what I mean. Oh, and if this whole food thing feels overwhelming, don't worry. I'm not here to be your nutrition coach. I'm just here to whisper into your soul. Maybe the thing that's draining you is on your plate. So eat like your energy depends on it. Because, plot twist, it does. Also, if you haven't liked the video yet and you're still here, what are we doing? You're already emotionally invested. You're basically in a food mood situationship with me now. Might as well make it official. Hit the like, subscribe, whatever. Or don't. But if your lunch makes you fall asleep today, just know, I warned you. Chapter 3. I cut out the people who made me emotionally tired. You ever talk to someone and feel like you just ran a 5K, except you didn't move? You just sat there, nodding, smiling, listening to the same drama for the 74th time. And somehow, by the end of it, you're so drained, you could nap under a fluorescent light on airport carpet. Yeah, that's emotional fatigue. And it's real. More real than kale. And way more exhausting than a treadmill. I used to think I was just introverted, or bad at small talk, or maybe my iron was low. But no. I was just spending too much time with people who drained my soul, like they were sipping it through a compostable straw. You know the type. They never ask how you're doing, unless it's to pivot back to themselves. Every conversation is a monologue. Every text thread is a therapy session you didn't sign up for. And every hangout leaves you feeling like you need a spa day, a nap, and possibly a new identity. But here's the twist. Some of the most exhausting people in your life are nice. They're not toxic in the dramatic fire-starting way. They're emotionally exhausting in that I feel guilty setting boundaries with you kind of way. The kind where you leave their presence and immediately need to lay on the floor and stare at the ceiling. And for the longest time, I thought this kind of tired was normal. I thought that being a good person meant tolerating it, carrying it, absorbing it. Until one day, I read a quote that slapped me harder than my mom with a chancla. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And I felt that in my bones. So I made a list, no joke, an actual list, of people who made me feel energized and people who made me feel like I needed to reboot my entire operating system. And when I saw it all written out, Let's just say some friendships were actually just unpaid emotional labor contracts. And I started cutting cords, gently, quietly. No drama, just less availability, fewer texts, more space. And the weirdest thing, no one really noticed. Turns out, the people who constantly drained me didn't actually care how I was doing. They just cared that I was available to fix them. And when I stopped being available, they moved on to the next free therapist. But you know what did change? My energy, my peace, my ability to think, create, sleep, exist without that constant low hum of guilt and resentment. Emotional fatigue is sneaky because it wears the mask of being there for others. But listen, you can be kind without being a sponge. You can care without caring. You can love people and still leave them if they're making you feel like a rechargeable battery in a broken socket. And yeah, this part's uncomfortable. You might be thinking of a person right now. Someone close, someone you love, someone who drains you dry with a smile and a sad story, and 1,000 little, can I just call you real quick? And I'm not saying cut everyone off and go live in a cave with your cat. I'm saying energy is expensive, and you only get so much of it each day. So maybe stop spending it on people who treat your attention like an open bar. Also, wild idea, maybe this is why you're tired all the time. Not because you don't sleep, but because you never stop processing people, their problems, their moods, their chaos. So give yourself permission to audit your circle. Not everyone deserves front row seats in your life. Some of them need to be moved back to the cheap seats, with binoculars, maybe a delay in audio. And if you've ever ghosted someone out of sheer emotional exhaustion, yeah, that wasn't you being flaky. That was your nervous system saying no, nope. Not today, Satan. Oh, and if you're still watching this video and thinking, wow, this is hitting too close to home, then yeah, it's working. And honestly, you probably deserve a break from more than just people. So here's your mission after this video. Text one person. Hey, I'm going to be a bit off the grid for a bit. Just taking care of some stuff. You don't have to explain. You don't owe them a TED Talk. Your energy is yours. Protect it like it's the last slice of pizza, and everyone else is pretending they're not hungry. And hey, if this video made you realize you need a little digital detox too, no pressure. But smashing that like button is weirdly satisfying. Like putting your phone on Do Not Disturb satisfying. Just saying. Chapter 4. I moved more, but less than you think. Let me paint you a scene. I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, fully dressed for the gym, headband, sneakers, the whole motivational Instagram ad package, and I'm paralyzed. Not physically, mentally, spiritually, existentially. I'm just sitting there, completely exhausted before I even touch the door handle. Why? Because for years, I believed this toxic little lie. You're tired because you're not working out enough. So naturally, I tried to fight exhaustion with intense workouts. I'm talking HIIT classes that felt like a hostage situation. Spin sessions that tried to kill me with techno music and screaming. And yeah, I left drenched in sweat, but also emotionally bankrupt and halfway to a nap I couldn't afford. Here's what no one told me. Being exhausted and being out of shape are not the same thing. You can be fit and still feel like roadkill if you're constantly triggering your nervous system like it owes you rent money. And here's the crazy part. When I stopped pushing myself so hard, I actually started to have more energy. I know, blasphemy, right? But hear me out. What I learned, and this is backed by actual science, not just some dude named Chad with abs and a TikTok, is that when you're chronically tired, what your body really needs is movement that feels safe, not stressful, not punishing. Just enough movement to tell your nervous system, hey, we're alive, and we're not being chased. So I ditched the beast mode nonsense and started small. Like, walk around the block small. Stretch on the floor while watching Netflix small. 10 minutes of movement. Not to burn calories, not to earn lunch, just to move. And you know what happened? My energy went up. Not overnight, but slowly, consistently. I started feeling like a person again, not a zombie with glutes. It turns out the human body isn't designed for back-to-back meetings, followed by panic cardio at 7 p.m. It's designed for rhythm, for flow, for little movements throughout the day that whisper, "Hey, we're okay." I started pacing during phone calls, doing air squats while I microwaved leftovers, walking in circles while listening to podcasts about trauma and why I keep overcommitting to things I hate. The bar was low, my friend, but that's the point. You don't need more punishment. You need more permission. Permission to move without an app screaming one more rep. Permission to stretch because it feels good, not because you're trying to fit into jeans from 2017. And yes, eventually I started doing real workouts again, but not from guilt, from energy, from desire, because I felt good, not because I hated myself. And that's the shift. When your movement becomes self-care instead of self-punishment, your energy changes, your brain lights up, your body responds, your life feels less like a prison and more like a ride you actually want to be on. So, if you're constantly exhausted and you think the answer is forcing yourself to the gym 6 days a week, pause, breathe, reconsider. Maybe your body doesn't need a boot camp. Maybe it needs a walk. Maybe it needs to dance badly in the kitchen. Maybe it just needs to move without being judged by your inner drill sergeant. Oh, and don't get it twisted. This isn't about being lazy. It's about being wise. There's a difference. Lazy is when you know what to do and choose not to. Wise is when you realize you've been doing the wrong thing harder and decide to stop. So, if you're watching this while slouched on your couch, wondering if stretching counts as movement, yes, it does. And no, you don't need to be in workout clothes, or post it, or tell anybody. Just move. A little, a lot. Doesn't matter. Your nervous system doesn't care about your aesthetics. It just wants to feel safe, energized, alive. Also, while we're at it, you've moved your thumb this far, right? I mean, you've scrolled, clicked, maybe even nodded silently in shame. So just keep the motion going. Tap the like. Subscribe if you haven't. It's called kinetic energy, baby. Newton would be proud. Chapter 5. I made boredom illegal. Okay, story time. There was a stretch of my life, months, maybe even years, where I did everything right. I had a stable job, a decent apartment, a fridge that didn't smell like regret. I even went to the gym 3 times a week and meal prepped quinoa like a responsible adult who had accepted that fun was dead. And yet, I was exhausted. All the time. But not I've been working too hard, tired. More like my soul is in a coma, tired. You know that flavor of fatigue where nothing's technically wrong, but everything feels like wallpaper? The kind where you wake up and immediately start counting how many hours until you can go back to bed? Yeah, that. At first, I blamed work, then sleep, then gluten, then Mercury in retrograde. But none of it was the real problem. I was bored. Not nothing to do, bored. Emotionally bored. Spiritually bored. The kind of bored where your life is technically full, but everything inside it feels gray. Here's the part no one talks about. Boredom is exhausting. Not the kind where you're stuck in traffic. The kind where your days all look the same, feel the same, blur together like a rerun you never asked to watch. And when that kind of monotony sets in, your brain starts going into energy-saving mode. Literally. It stops firing up the good chemicals. No dopamine, no reward. Just this endless fog of me. And it's dangerous. Because it doesn't feel like a problem you need to fix. It feels like you're the problem. So I started doing something radical. I made boredom illegal. Now, before you imagine me skydiving and buying a motorcycle, relax. I'm not talking about Instagram adventure nonsense. I'm talking about little sparks, tiny doses of novelty, micro doses of, whoa, that was different. Like switching up my walk route, trying a weird recipe. saying yes to something I'd normally autopilot a nah to, listening to music from a genre I used to mock. Shout out to Mongolian throat singing for waking up parts of my brain I forgot existed. And the impact? Unreal. I started feeling more alive, not in a fake productivity hack way, in a my brain actually wants to be awake today kind of way. Because here's the science: novelty fuels dopamine, and dopamine fuels energy. You don't need a vacation in Bali to feel alive. Sometimes you just need a reason to look up, a moment that breaks the loop, a spark. And if your life has become an endless loop of screens, chores, scrolling, surviving, and collapsing into bed just to do it all again, yeah, no wonder you're tired. You're not broken, you're understimulated. So, no, rest isn't just about slowing down. It's about reconnecting with anything that makes you feel something. And I get it. Sometimes joy feels like a luxury you don't have time for. But the truth is, joy is fuel. And if you never give yourself even a sip of it, your tank will stay empty no matter how much sleep you get. So here's your assignment. Yes, this is now an interactive video. You're welcome. Do one thing today that breaks your loop. Doesn't have to be big, just different. Write with your non-dominant hand. Eat lunch in a weird spot. Watch a movie you've never heard of and try not to Google it first. Remind your brain that life isn't just a checklist, it's a playground. And if that feels cheesy or dumb, cool, try it anyway. What's dumber is waking up every day and dragging your body through routines that haven't made you happy in years. You've tried burnout. You've tried overworking. You've tried doing nothing and calling it self-care. Now try living a little. Also, side note, if this chapter hit you right in the emotional breadbasket, it might be a sign that you need a little more novelty in your feed too. And hey, I can't legally prescribe dopamine, but you could hit that subscribe button and let Wise Joe be the weird little spark in your YouTube loop. Just saying. Chapter 6. I got brutally honest about what was draining me. All right, so this is the part where things stop being fun and start getting uncomfortably honest. Because it turns out, one of the biggest reasons I was tired all the time was because I was living a lie. Not like secret double life lie. Not I faked my own death and moved to Spain lie. No, it was sneakier than that. It was a quiet dishonesty. The kind where I said I was fine and I wasn't. Where I told people I loved my job, but I fantasized about quitting every 11 minutes. Where I said I was just tired, when really I was spiritually malnourished and low-key, drowning in unspoken disappointment. And here's what hit me like a truck full of therapy sessions. Lying to yourself is exhausting. Carrying around resentment? Exhausting. Pretending you're okay with your life when you're actually deeply unsatisfied? Soul-crushingly exhausting. I didn't realize how much energy I was bleeding every day just holding in the truth. The truth that I hated certain parts of my routine. The truth that I outgrew some of the things I once prayed for. The truth that I was afraid of change, of judgment, of what would happen if I actually admitted, I don't want this anymore. And for a while, I avoided that truth by doing what most people do. I stayed busy. Busyness is the adult pacifier. It keeps your mouth full so you don't have to speak what's real. And the more I stayed busy, the more I stayed tired. Until one night, I cracked. No dramatic breakdown, no Lifetime movie moment. Just me, sitting in my car after a long day, parked outside my apartment, holding my steering wheel like it had answers. And I whispered, I don't want to do this anymore. That was the moment. Not a fix, not a solution, just a truth. Finally said out loud. And that's when the energy started to come back. Not all at once, but slowly. Because when you stop suppressing your truth, your nervous system doesn't have to work overtime pretending everything's okay. You free up bandwidth. You stop managing a facade. You stop carrying the weight of pretending to be someone you're not. And honesty becomes fuel. Look, truth isn't always convenient. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes the truth is, you hate your job. You miss someone. You're not over what happened 3 years ago. You're not the person you thought you'd be by now. And saying it out loud won't magically fix everything, but it will give your spirit room to breathe. Because as long as you're pretending, you're leaking energy. And no amount of sleep, supplements, or self-care Sundays will patch a soul that's tired from lying to itself. So here's what I did. I got real. With myself. I journaled the stuff I was scared to admit. I talked to a friend who doesn't flinch when things get heavy. I looked in the mirror and said, this isn't working, but maybe something else can. And that shift, from pretending to processing, was the beginning of healing. Because being tired from life is one thing, but being tired from pretending to love a life that doesn't fit you, that's a special kind of soul rot. So, if you're tired and you don't know why, ask yourself what you're hiding. Not from others, from you. And if your chest got a little tight just now, that's not random. That's your body recognizing the truth and saying, please let me exhale. And hey, if no one's told you this in a while, you don't have to keep it all together. You don't have to pretend to love what you're surviving. And you don't have to stay stuck in something just because it once made sense. You're allowed to evolve. And sometimes, the only way to stop feeling tired is to start feeling honest. Also, since we're being honest here, this video might be hitting harder than you expected. Which means two things. One, you're my kind of person. Two, you should probably stick around. Go ahead. Like the video, subscribe. Not because I told you to, but because if this spoke to you, you might need more of this in your life, and less of the fake, flashy, just be positive nonsense. This ? This is your emotional protein shake. And Chapter 7 is coming in hot. Chapter 7. I stopped earning rest and just took it. You want to know something that messed me up for years? I believed I had to earn rest. Like it was some kind of twisted loyalty points program. Congratulations, you did enough soul-sucking tasks today. Here's your crumb of peace. Don't get used to it. I'd finish a long day, sit on the couch, finally exhale, and then immediately feel this low-key panic, like, wait, did I do enough to justify sitting here? And if the answer was maybe not, I'd get up, open my laptop, answer emails at 10:37 p.m. like I was trying to win Employee of the Month in a job that wouldn't even send me a fruit basket. Because somewhere along the way, I learned that rest is only okay if it's deserved. If you worked hard, if you checked every box, if everyone else is taken care of first, if the kitchen's clean, inbox zeroed, goals hit, metrics met, body moved, mind stimulated, dog walked, and there's absolutely nothing else you could possibly be doing, then maybe you can chill. And if that's not insane, I don't know what is. Because here's what I finally realized. Rest is not a reward. Rest is a requirement. Like oxygen. Like water. Like carbs, no matter what keto influencers say. And when you treat rest like a trophy, you turn your life into a never-ending tournament. You're always chasing, hustling, grinding, pushing. For what? To finally feel like you've earned a nap? That's not success. That's slavery in Wi-Fi form. So I stopped, not gradually, not gracefully. Just one day I hit a wall and said, screw it. I'm resting now. Not because I earned it. Because I need it. Because I'm a human. Because being alive in this world is exhausting enough, without also needing to prove your worth to an imaginary productivity god every time you want to close your eyes. You know what changed? Everything. When I gave myself permission to rest, on good days, bad days, lazy days, productive days, my energy didn't just return, it stabilized. I stopped swinging between burnout and guilt, stopped mistaking collapse for restoration, stopped trying to schedule recovery, like my body was some kind of fragile tech device overheating from too many tabs. And I learned this. Rest doesn't just refill you, it redefines you. It's the moment your brain goes quiet and your soul speaks up. It's the quiet rebellion in a culture that screams, do more, until you forget who you are. It's how you reclaim your humanity when the world tries to turn you into a spreadsheet with legs. And yeah, people judged me. Must be nice. Wish I could rest like that. You're so lucky to have time. But guess what? Rest isn't luck. It's a boundary. It's a choice, a decision to stop asking for permission to be whole. So now, I rest without guilt. I unplug unapologetically. I nap like it's my right. I say no like it's my love language. Because a well-rested version of me is more powerful than any burnt-out overachiever version society tried to sell me. And if that makes me lazy in the eyes of people who hate themselves, so be it. I'm done being tired for the sake of appearing strong. I'm done collapsing just to look capable. I rest and I rise better. And so can you. So let me leave you with this. Stop waiting until you're falling apart to rest. Start resting so you don't. Your tiredness is not a flaw. It's not weakness. It's not laziness. It's data. It's your body, your mind, your soul saying, please, for once, listen. And if you needed someone to give you permission, here, I'm giving it. Lay down, turn it off, take a break, opt out. Do it without guilt, without apology, without anyone's damn approval. Because you don't need to earn peace. You were born deserving it. And if this video reminded you of that, if even one part of this made you feel seen or heard or a little less alone, then you already know what to do. Don't just like it, live it. Take what hit you hardest and do something about it. Not tomorrow, not when you're less busy. Now, because tired isn't your identity, it's your signal. And now you've got the message. What you do next, that's where your story changes.